Welcome to Billy Ho Sports. Thank you for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to like and comment on the videos. I hope you enjoy the show. Now, let's go. Hello, Billy Ho here again with another week one DraftKings low-key video series. Today we are going to cover wide receivers. As I mentioned in my previous video, they are the most robust and the most top-heavy bottom. You can just all over the map, you'll be able to find somebody to play. And 13 game slate, pretty big on Sunday. So let's get into the action. Stick around because I'm going to go through game by game, but you may hear some names. I may revert back or go forward. So make sure you stick around for the whole video, or at least most of it. And that way you can up my view time. And I appreciate that as well. And if you haven't already subscribed, most important, number one, subscribe. B, number two, give a like and comment on the videos. That always helps. And it lets me know that you guys are engaged and that you're watching the videos. And that's important to me because I want you guys to get something out of this. I'm not just cobbling this stuff together. I honestly am trying to find ways to be different. Not going to get up here and go, oh, well, play Justin Jefferson and then play Jonathan Taylor, and then you're good. And then you can go ahead and punt defense and punt tight end, and you got the Jefferson and Taylor. Yeah, well, okay, that's probably a no-brainer. So let's take a look at some games. All right. We are going to start out with the Baltimore and the New York Jets game. And what I'm going to do here is the first guy I want to look at is Mr. Corey Davis. All right, Corey Davis, as I mentioned before, he was in a contract year, right? I said that he was actually in my sleeper video for wide receivers. And with Joe Flacco starting the season off as the number one QB, I feel like that them two guys being in the league, I know Flacco's been in the league forever, but Corey Davis is probably only like a 4 or 5 year, maybe 4 years, but he's a veteran on that team. So I think Joe Flacco is going to single him out. He's the biggest receiver at 6'3". The other two guys, the new guy rookie is 6'1", 184, and Elijah Moore is 5'9" and like 173. Now you got Denzel Mims, he's a big guy, but he just never seemed. I think he's in his third year and he hasn't really busted a grape yet. So absolutely 100 on Corey Davis for that game. I think Bateman is too risky. He's going to need 8 to 10 targets, and his name's not Mark Andrews. Oh boy. Mike Thomas, Mikael. I feel like that Jameis and the coaching staff are going to be eager to get him involved early and often. He looks healthy. He's only $5,700, and maybe by the time next week rolls around, he's not going to be low key because people will be on him. So it's going to be your call. But I felt like I must mention him because I really, really think he's going to be a good play. I think he could see double-digit targets. Even in a game script that they're favored in, it's going to be like right back into the old days with Drew Brees. It's going to be Michael Thomas, and it's going to be Alvin Kamara. And then you sprinkle in some Olave Love and maybe a tight end here or there, and then stupid-ass Taysom Hill might get a carry. But he looks every bit the part, so I felt compelled to mention him. He is also no stranger to big games 10 games against the Atlanta Falcons in his career, and I'd say 6 of them he had 100 yards, and almost all of them and or a touchdown. So he's had some big games. Is one Michael Pittman. And probably not, I guess, technically not low key, but I just feel like everybody is going to flock to Jonathan Taylor in this game, which qualifies Pittman as a low key play. And the 5,500 price tag qualifies him. He is the de facto leader in the wide receiver boardroom. I read that myself. No, I wrote it down and then I read it. No, I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, he has freakish athlete, very talented. He's not Julio Jones, but check this. He's 6'4" and 223 pounds. So he's about the same size as Julio Jones. May not be the athlete, but he is definitely going to get the majority of the passing work from one Matt Ryan. So then there's another guy I want to mention, Alec Pierce, in this game, as he's a rookie and he's a bit of a long shot. I think he's sneaky fast. He's one of them white dudes that could get down the field. Like I remember Green Bay had a guy a few years ago that used to get down the field, another Cooper Kupp type that's quick out of those breaks. I think he might be able to get deep once on this Houston defense, like old T.Y. Hilton used to do. So he might be worth a risk, Alec Pierce. Keep that in your head. And so in the Jacksonville-Washington game, you must look at Christian Kirk. The Jags did not pay him big money and sign him to a big fat contract just to be another nobody deep target in Arizona. $5,100 is a fair price. I think Kirk had a nice ceiling in Arizona. He had a few good games, but I think maybe now that he's in Jacksonville, he might actually get a floor now. So if he gets like that 8 to 12 target thing going on, then he might catch 6 for 80. And, you know, he still can get you there at 5,100. He don't necessarily need to score. He might be fairly popular, but I don't know if I think this game will go overlooked, to be honest with you. I don't think a lot of people want to screw around with the Commandos or the Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. Christian Kirk is probably one of the few guys in this game I'd be interested in. And the next guy would be in this very same game, Scary Terry McLaurin. He's a beast of a number one wide receiver. He's only $6,500. I wish they would have done a little bit better than fucking Carson Wentz. That guy just, I don't know what happened to him. I guess that busted ACL because he was having like an MVP rookie season with the Philadelphia Eagles. And then he just folded his knee and toward the end of the season. And then Nick Foles came in and won the Super Bowl. And it's like he's like he's not any good anymore. I don't know. But this game could be low key. It's 6,500 is considered pricey, but for what Scary Terry was, it's not bad. So I don't know. He's the only really reliable wide receiver they have. So that's up to you if you want to spend the salary. He's definitely a pivot off of somebody like Brandon Cooks, because I think Brandon Cooks is going to get a ton of ownership for good reason. And Terry McLaurin is every bit as good as Brandon Cooks. And I don't know. You might be able to argue Davis Mills is a better quarterback. Who knows? But there you are. So you could probably get Terry McLaurin at 5% and Brandon Cooks at 12, and they both got the same upside and the same chance to score. So there you go. DJ. I'm not going to call him Chark to Chark, whatever that kid's show is. He's just DJ. You know, DJ Jr., new team, new drink. I do think he's got a chance to shine, actually. Philadelphia has bolstered their secondary, and they're pretty solid in that aspect. And I don't think this is going to be a very low-key game because I think everybody's going to be on Amon St. Brown, the Browns, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and A.J. Brown. They might even play Devontae Smith Then you got Goddard and Hawkinson, and then you got down the list, you got DJ Chark. So I think Chark at 4,800 is a good downfield threat, which will give him upside. Also, red zone looks because he's big, 6'4", and if he could just get that one connect with Goff, you're on your way to like a 4x payoff at sub 8% ownership, probably. I don't see very many people playing DJ Chark at all. And he is really happy to be in Detroit. It's a night and day situation from the crap he had last year with busted ass Urban Meyer, who was a huge mistake as a head coach. He sucks in the NFL. He might have been good back in the day in college, but he really didn't do much for anybody's prospects in Jacksonville. So DJ Chark. All right. This is the New England Miami game. And I think Tyreek Hill, whether or not he's low key, I don't know. That 6,800 price tag may have people thinking, oh, shit. But there are so many other high scoring games. I think maybe this one will go overlooked, hopefully. And I think Tyreek Hill has massive upside at 6,800. Tua is obviously not the gunslinger Patrick Mahomes is by far, but he can throw Hill open on slants and let him do the rest. I like him even more if Waddle is healthy and a go, because I think that will take some pressure off Tyreek. If Waddle sits, then Belichick, you know how he does it. He wants to take away your best player. But in the history of Belichick versus Tyreek, I think Tyreek's got him more often than not. And Tyreek is so fast, and I think he can just take a double-digit target share, and he can just get you, like you see his last game, 7 receptions, 78 yards, and a touchdown for 20 points, and that's 3X. And that's just a pedestrian day for him. Now, he may not get that. I think he can get that easy, honestly, in this game. It just depends on what New England does. And now, on the other side of that coin, Devontae Parker, I think, is a pretty solid play for playing versus his former team. And, you know, I'm not into that revenge narrative and all that stuff. I'm sure he probably doesn't even hold any ill will towards his former team, but he might be the best wide receiver on this team. Now, I know they have Jacoby Myers, but he's just kind of a statue that just runs those 10 or 12 out routes, and he might catch 7 for 50 yards. Devontae Parker gets down the field. Devontae Parker's only problem in his NFL career is staying healthy. And as far as I know, he's healthy going into week 1. So he's got great hands. He can get down the field. He's a good route runner. I think he'll thrive on this team. I think in the Belichick system, it's discipline. I not personally know Devontae Parker, but he went to my hometown school here in Louisville. He is a very, very disciplined type guy, and he is business. So I like him in this game. Now, I am going to go ahead and skip both Cleveland, Carolina, and San Francisco, Chicago. Because I don't like anybody in those games. I think they're shit. And we're going to look at Chase Claypool. Now, he's 5K, and I think he might be bumped up the ladder a little bit. I don't know about this injury to Deontay Johnson. He had that shoulder injury, and people are playing it down. He's going to be fine for week 1, and he probably will. But you land on the shoulder again, and then you're hurting. I mean, that stuff, you know, sprained AC joints, even if it's like a grade 1 or the most minor one, can still flare up on you again. You're always diving to the ground for balls, especially when Mitch Trubisky is throwing them. Dude's not accurate. They're probably diving. So I like Claypool at 5K. I think George Pickens is probably a week or 2 away. He might develop into a wide receiver, a nice number 1 wide receiver. But like I said, I don't like rookies. Then you got Najee. Then you got Deontay. Then you got Freiermuth. So Pickens is down the Pickens order. I think Claypool has the most upside. He can get down the field. He can get up to catch balls in the red zone. So I think he's got a good shot to score, one, and number two, to get 7 to 9 targets and turn those into 4 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown. And then if you get 4 for 90 and a touchdown, that's pushing 4x. So that's all you really want. So next game up for bids is going to be the Green Bay and Minnesota game. Now, if you still think Adam Thielen has gas in the tank, 5,400 is a good price. He will likely need a touchdown, but in the past, he's shown that ain't much of a problem for him. The dude finds a way. So not bad as a pivot off of Jefferson. And then you got Irv Smith, who's on the tight end list. I feel like the Vikings are going to be more run heavy in this game because, as I said in previous videos, Green Bay, great secondary. So I don't know if I'll play anybody on the Minnesota side receiving, but I might play this dude for Green Bay. Yeah, I know. He's probably going to be mildly popular too at 3K. Romeo Doubs. I think he's developed a pretty decent rapport. I think he can get 5 to 7 targets from Aaron Rodgers. And I think he can turn maybe 3 catches for 70 yards and maybe he gets in the end zone. I think he can 3x 3K easily. I think he's looking at 12 DraftKings points, and that's a 4x, and that's fine. But I think he also has upside to get 20. If he cracks a 60-yard touchdown, then you're dancing. So Romeo Doubs, 3K, low key, get her done. Now, next game up, the redheaded stepchild of the 4 p.m. slate, the New York Giants traveling to the Tennessee Titans. There's a few guys in there. I did notice the Giants have improved their secondary. They still have Darius Slay, who's really good, but they've added James Bradbury. So I don't know that there's anybody other than Austin Hooper on the Tennessee squad that I want. And then the other guy, you already know, it's Wan'Dale Robinson. If he gets the start at slot, he's going to be 3K. So he's probably the one guy I would play. And there may be a long shot that Darius Slayton gets back in the mix, and you know how he can get downfield. That dude, all he needs is 2 catches on 4 targets, and he could go 2 for 90 and a touchdown. So keep an eye out on him. But we're going to floss on by that game. And I'm getting down to the end here, but one of the few last guys I wanted to mention was one Joshua Palmer. I've actually kind of changed my mind on him. Yes, he is low key, but he is also behind Eckler, behind Williams, and behind Keenan Allen. So if somebody got hurt mid-game, you can't predict that, but I would keep an eye on Joshua Palmer because he is an injury away from being a real integral part of this offense. And he still may score a touchdown. He's $3,800. He may catch 3 for 30 and a touchdown. And then you're dancing. You're like 12 DraftKings points. So you never know, but give a shot or at least keep an eye on him. Put him on your watch list, whatever. Now, the last game and the most important to everybody, it seems like, is this Kansas City, Arizona game. And we're going to pull that up as a whole. All right. Last game on the docket. And I'll start with the most expensive guy is Hollywood Brown. And he's kind of interesting to me. I don't think I guess he doesn't qualify as low key, but I do want to talk about him since this is like the most popular game. I think he gets ownership and Juju also. But the two guys in this high scoring powered affair are 6,200 and 5,200 respectively. And I'm not including Kelsey in that because Kelsey is probably the best skill position player on the field. And we all know that, the de facto number 1 receiver. But the other receivers in this game can get her done. And I will keep an eye on one thing, and that's Rondale Moore his health. Now, if for some reason Rondale Moore can't go, I kind of have a little bit of interest in AJ Green, 4,600. So we don't know. Moore is still a close call. So it could possibly be AJ Green slotting into that low key area. And I know AJ Green is old AF, but the dude still can get open on the goal line. So he might have touchdown upside. 4,600 is a little pricey when you got all kinds of more. And, you know, you can just play the Moors. You know, you got Rondell Moore, you got Sky Moore, you got Elijah Moore, you got DJ Moore. There's more Moores in this league that you can shake a stick at. But that's going to cover that portion of the video. So hopefully I didn't wax too poetic for you. And that's low-key wide receivers. There will be some to open up as we get closer to kickoff. Remember, follow me on Twitter, BILLYAH40 on the Twitter machine. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. Pay it forward. Tell a friend. Tell that friend's girlfriend when y'all are having drinks or whatever. Say, jump on Twitter and give this dude a sub. You don't even have to watch the videos, honey. Just drink your drink. Drink your appletini. And until the next video, we'll see you soon.